You're watching the Chaos Protocol on Transplanar RPG, an all-transgender, people of color-led dark fantasy TTRPG show set in an original non-colonial, anti-Orientalist multiverse. If you like what you see, please consider pledging to our Patreon to support the show and get access to a patron-only after-show, early podcast episodes, GM notes, character sheets, and even the chance for your tabletop OC to cameo in our series. Thank you so much for watching, and enjoy. The Chaos Protocol is a dark fantasy series that may contain content that is triggering for some viewers. Content warnings for this episode include complex relationships, fantasy violence, and death. Arc 3, Episode 10. To the Sun That We Dread. From Praying Beside the Teeth That Killed Me, by Connie Chang. The Thakrar Haveli is a lush and sprawling compound with a dozen multi-tiered, flat-roofed stone buildings connected by verdant courtyards, dotted by falsa berry bushes, mulberry trees, and mango trees currently bare in the wake of autumn. The buildings themselves are gorgeous. Latticed stone walls sport painted frescoes of House Thakrar's long and illustrious history. The covered hallways surrounding each courtyard bear painted floors and lead to spacious, colorful rooms. The outer courtyards of the Haveli are lavish and roomy, clearly meant to entertain large amounts of guests and even to serve as a community hub for the surrounding neighborhood. The inner courtyards, though slightly smaller, are no less grand in elegance, bearing more personal flourishes, such as charpai, outdoor beds made from sturdy wood and woven fibers. Everywhere we look, we see domed ceilings, floral patterning, circular archways, flourishing plants. But it is not just the beauty of this Haveli that commands our attention. There are whispers here, too. Dense webs of power and all the misgivings that come with it accumulating in the ancient corners of this home. But only the most perceptive, the most attuned, can even sense such a thing beneath the grandeur of history. As the ancestral home of the spiders, and one of the very first structures built in Inferno, the Thakrar Haveli was not always this massive or sprawling. What began as 2 humble buildings and 2 beloved courtyards have since propagated into the dizzying compound that the Thakrars, their retainers, their companions, and their collaborators now call home. We push through corridors of sandstone and plaster to find an imposing wing of the Haveli reserved for artists in residence at the ICMA. And it is here, in this wing, that we find Rhododendron. Due to the events of last night's bloodbath, you have accumulated some exposure. Please mark 3 exposure due to your ruthless butchering of Jamie Shimizu. You would have also lost favor with at least one other major house if you hadn't so adroitly resisted that social harm Jamie tried to put on you. There's another silver lining here for you. You get 1 additional influence from successfully completing the errand of organizing the bloodbath, if only really by technicality at this point. Now, why don't you tell us about your office in the residency wing of the Thakrar Haveli? What does it look like, and what personal touches decorate it?
Ro's office is this beautiful room full of wood furnishings. In the sort of far side of the room, there is this desk made of oak that stands sturdy and strong, kind of framing everything else that's in the room. And the room actually has this sort of illusion of being outside while you're in it. Many of the plants that you find outside in the courtyards, just beyond the windows of the office, Ro has made a point to bring those very same plants into the office, almost creating this illusory effect as if you have walked straight from the courtyard into their office. And so those plants line sort of the perimeter of their space. And there are pictures that are framed and hung up on all of the different walls of their office. Some of them are art pieces, of course, that have been gifted to them or bought by them from various different creators, artists that have graced the halls of the ICMA, many of them who stayed in this very Haveli in the artist in residence section. These are some of Ro's most prized possessions, some of the connections that they have made with other people in Inferno live in those pieces. Littered between those art pieces as well, there are family portraits of different people that have lived and been a part of House Thakrar. There is, of course, the people that we know and are familiar with. There is a portrait of Yara, there is a portrait of Will, and then there are other portraits of different people, all different shapes, sizes, colors that sort of adorn this office as well. And lastly, the sort of big major piece that is holding all of this office together is a beautiful rapier that is mounted on the wall just at the center above the desk, above that oak desk. And it is this long, slender sword, beautifully and intricately crafted. It is a Thakrar house heirloom that has been passed down from heir to heir to heir. Its handle, the guards on it are branches and leaves, and the basket is this spider web that is currently adorned with, if you look closely enough, you'd be able to see nasturtium leaves, nasturtium flowers, the petals of it sort of coating like dew along the spider web. And the blade, if you were able to get close enough to see it, has words engraved in it. Everything is a performance. Blood comes first. It is grand. It is beautiful. It's a work of art.
And it is nighttime, too, Ro. The pale light of the waxing gibbous filters through the latticed stone walls inside this room, and it falls slanted against your desk. And also leaning against your desk, observing one of those many pieces of art on your wall, is your mother. Willow Thakrar is as tall and slender as her namesake. She wears a braid of dark brown hair streaked with handsome stripes of gray. Her clothes are stylish and eclectic and timeless. Her right eye is just like yours, as yellow as a cat's, and her left eye is sealed shut with thick bands of scar tissue. Arms crossed, still looking up at one of these art pieces, your mother says, "Why did you put this one up in your office?"
That one was actually, that was one of the first artists in residence that stayed here from when
trite. Replace it with something more delicate. A Gauthier, perhaps. Or a Chang Adams.
The artists actually did quite well while they were here. I chose them personally.
Are those your standards? Rhododendron.
No, of course not. You always had a better eye for these things. Mother.
It is one thing to simply judge, witness, and observe art. It is wholly another to create it, and still a third to be able to aptly do both. If you cannot create, Ro, you must at least be peerless when it comes to critique.
And Ro, their hand goes to their long black sleeve and starts fiddling with it slightly of this shirt, this sweater that they are wearing that has along the neck these spider webs kind of like braided into them like threads. and they fiddle with that sleeve nervously, and they nod, knowing that though they have tried, Ro has never been able to create for himself. Never been able to make something that was up to the Thakrar standards. Painting, sculpting, weaving, hell, performance art, none of it ever really clicked for Ro. But Ro has a good eye. They know they have a good eye. And so they nod and they say, of course, and I make sure that every single piece that graces the walls of the ICMA is one to behold that will make everybody talk, regardless of whether they think they understand art or not.
Good. Make sure you follow up on those promises with action and delivery. And your mother turns to look at you. Inferno has been talking, Rhododendron.
And what exactly has Inferno been saying?
Last night's bloodbath was the most well-attended affair across 6 social seasons. Very good. There were delegates from every major house, except Lanius. Also very good. The organizer of the bloodbath arrived late, but fashionably so. Fine. The reason Rhi was late was because Rhi was feeding from a House Ula blood bag that Rhi didn't even know was already claimed. Not good. An assassin tried to murder the littlest spider in front of the entire city. Bad. 3 strangers stopped the assassination attempt. Fine. The heir to the spiders challenged the assassin to a duel to the death. Good. The heir won. Also good. The victory was messy. Not so good. The heir expressed an impulsivity, a brutality, and an intimacy that does not befit the makings of their house. Very bad.
I made sure that I understand that it is not perhaps the tactics that you would have chosen, but I made sure that nobody that was there to witness the events of the bloodbath, none of them would ever try that. They know that the spiders are not to be trifled with. Yara's life will never be in danger like that again.
Rhododendron, it is one thing to control other people's perceptions of you. It is another to control yourself. We do not drink with abandon. We do not lose our composure, and we do not stop performing. To do so is to lose that control, and to lose control is to die.
Yes, of course. I didn't enjoy it.
That doesn't matter, Rhododendron. It doesn't matter if you enjoyed it. It doesn't matter if you hated it. It doesn't matter if it was the best thing you've ever felt. What matters is you remember who you are, and you remember how to wear your mask and play your role. And Will, as she speaks, walks around that desk, reaches up to the wall, and takes that centerpiece, that beautiful rapier, off of it, and she drops it onto your desk with a metallic clang. Did you forget how to use this last night?
I didn't bring it with me because I didn't think that I needed it for a party, of all things.
You created an improvised weapon, which was good, but you did not use it to kill Jamie Shimizu, which was very bad. You, and she places 2 fingers on the basket, and slides it across the desk toward you, will carry this blade with you everywhere now, lest you forget yourself again.
And Rose fingers slide across that basket, fingering the nasturtium flowers that are engraved and placed so lovingly on the spider web. And they remember their place. Their shoulders move back and down, a more dignified position, and they take the rapier in their hand, curl around that cold metal, and pull it towards themselves.
Good. Shoulders down, back. Hold it like you mean it. Hold it like it's a killing tool, which it is. Hold it like it is a symbol of everything you could ever be. And never, ever forget that.
I won't make that mistake again.
Good. And Willow turns from you and rounds the desk to lean back against it, sheeting her body so it's halfway facing you and halfway facing that art piece again. I'm moving the gallery opening up. It will be the site of the next bloodbath.
That's in a month.
I am aware. Are you saying you can't handle it?
No, it's just there is a lot to prepare. The site, the Recluse Gallery, is still in rubble, and a month
that is your problem to fix, Rhododendron. 3 months is much too much time for House Lanius to do what House Lanius does, circulate their rumors, undermine our position. We cannot afford that. And your latest exposure at this bloodbath. Though you've dealt the recompense that our house was owed to Jamie Shimizu, there are whispers. The streets speak. Inferno gossips. We cannot let that gossip percolate for more than a moon.
Of course not. But people may whisper, but they have no leverage upon which to act. So is there any way that we can buy more time? It would be easier to prepare.
Rhododendron, do not be so weak. It does not befit you. You are very fortunate and fated indeed that you've said those words only in the company of your mother. Never say something like that, ever, in front of me or anyone else. You do not crumble in the face of challenge, you rise to meet it. You crush it.
Crush it I will.
Good. Of course, this means all of your errands are expedited. You must keep House Huyen happy, and you must secure houses Ula and Kuatun. If you must choose between them, because you only have a moon, court the bear. As we both know, the serpents are in bed with the Shrikes and have been for some time now. They may be difficult to sway to our side. Either way, you must secure art pieces from all of our allies to legitimize the bond. And you must ensure that they will swear fealty at the opening.
They will. I will make sure of it.
That art piece will be their bond.
And I will secure it from the heads of each house, just as we planned.
Good. And make sure that you expedite preparations for your own installation. It must be perfect.
I'm working on it.
Chang Adams. She looks back at the art piece on the wall, and then without another word, she turns and she leaves.
And as soon as Willow is out of the office, out of sight, all of the tension in Rose's body releases. The hand that was holding the rapier slams down softly onto the desk. There is a clanging of the metal against wood, and they grip with their other hand onto the other side of the desk. and they are just so heavy. Rare shoulders. Can they really hold this much?
Your mother exits your office and strides into that open floor atrium that bleeds into the courtyard. There's this domed ceiling above her head that overlooks 3 beautifully painted stories and even more potted plants than the eye can count. At the same time, Strike Team Nova. You enter the atrium from the courtyard, led by Yaro Thakrar. Willow passes Yara without a word, but a single glance from her is enough to make them straighten their shoulders, shut their trap, and stiffen. And Yara doesn't relax when Willow rounds the corner out of sight without giving the 4 of you a second look. And Yara doesn't relax as she leads your party to the arched doorway of Ro's office either. Okay. So, thanks again for saving me, or whatever. Ro's in there. They're expecting you. Have fun.
Thank you.
And Yara, raps twice on the door.
Just a sec, and Ro, not having time to mount that rapier back on the wall, just kind of places it a little further back on the desk and straightens out their clothes. Takes a deep breath, and then goes to open the door.
The office that greets you, Strike Team Nova, is beautiful. It feels like you stepped into yet another courtyard before you notice the ceiling, the walls, so many beautiful art pieces adorning every nook and cranny of this place. And Yinghe actually looks around and is the first to step into this space, pressing against the walls, the shadows where they are most comfortable, but with a clear look of awe in their eyes. Wow, Rhododendron, this place is gorgeous.
Thank you. I've picked out each of these pieces myself.
Really? Did you make them?
No, I'm not an artist myself. I'm just a art curator at the ICMA.
Oh, well, you have a very good eye. Great sense of taste.
Thank you. And Ro kind of looks to see if the rest of Strike Team Nova is entering the office.
Lumièra is...
Go ahead.
Oh, I was going to say Lumièra is, but her eyes, you will quickly be able to tell, Ro. Her eyes leave very little to her internal thoughts or anything along the lines of that. And they're just saucered, taking in everything. She's doing that slow walk, that apprehensive walk where you're just looking at every single, down to the paneling on the floor, you're looking at looking at everything with every step.
Xainan takes his hat off as they finally enter what is probably not a courtyard. He looks up to make sure that there's no sunlight or sky visible here before fully removing it. He glances at the artwork, but that doesn't captivate him. The thing that he looks at is where a weapon should be hanging. And he just locks on that like it is the most beautiful piece of art in the room.
Seir enters behind the rest of Nova. I think he is still trying to pinpoint Yaro's whole deal, and is kind of trying to pinpoint where the littlest spider fits in this massive web that's emerging in the politics of Lanius and House Thakrar. And he steps in, kind of leans down and looks at everything. And Ro, maybe much to your dismay, he's clearly fascinated. He looks at all the art pieces. There's a little shine, a glimmer of something behind his eyes that you didn't expect to see out of this large, brutish looking man. But then this word falls out of his lips, and perhaps it is a disappointment as he goes, "Nice." Before his eye falls onto the rapier in the backmost part of that table, before he says, "Beautiful weapon."
Thank you. And as the last of Strike Team Nova enters the office, Ro walks over and closes that door with a very firm click and turns around. Thank you all so much for joining me here. I wanted to give you an official invitation to the Haveli on behalf of House Thakrar to thank you for everything that you did last night to save Yara's life.
You're very
Beautiful
welcome.
here.
I didn't really do anything, but I will if it happens again. If hopefully, you know what I mean.
Yeah.
Well, let's hope that it doesn't happen again.
Yes.
But if it does, it seems that the three of you, or perhaps the four of you, are interested in helping House Thakrar in some way. You don't know us, and we don't know you, and yet you put your body in front of a would-be assassin looking at Lumièra. Why?
Lumièra takes that, and it almost looks as if she's rolling her response around on her tongue as she's mulling it over. I'm pretty sure I can speak for the rest of my team here. When we see someone in trouble, we help. Period.
That's about the sum of it.
You seem very capable.
I like to think so.
How is it exactly that you found your way into our beautiful city, Inferno? I don't think I've ever seen you around before, and from the looks of it, Diablo, Anu, nobody else had either.
How does anyone get here? This entire city seems like a haven for souls
Wait.
lost and found.
We also do all work here.
I attend the university.
I'm a construction worker.
Above table question, are any of you lying?
Lumièra's telling you the 100% truth. You don't even have to roll for it.
Xainan didn't
What about
say what his
Seir?
job was.
Seir's not lying. That's his cover. So that is apparently what he is.
Yeah. So, Ro, you can tell they're all telling the truth, but they're talking around something too. They're not directly lying to you for sure, but they're omitting some things.
For the audience, fun mechanical thing is that Ro has an ability that makes it so that they can always tell when other people are lying. And so that pings, I think, for them, where this isn't a lie, but it's not a truth either. It's somewhere gray in the middle, and I think Ro files that away in the back of Rare Mind, and Ray doesn't press further. Just nods at the answers and seemingly satisfied by them, and will gesture to, I think, like chairs, large armchairs that are set up in the office for the four of them to sit down, and Ro themselves will take up their appointed position behind the desk.
Yinka
So-
Goes
sits,
and sits.
and this huge armchair seems to swallow them. In comparison, they're like a slender shadow.
Lumièra stays standing. She stays standing off over to the side of her team, but her posture, the way she's holding herself, could rival yours.
And Seir takes point on the other side of the armchair, mirroring Lumièra, but he rests his lower back against it and looks at Ro, allowing the large armchair to swallow both Yinghe and Xainan in its like massive space.
Are you by the armchair that Yinghe is in? Are you by the armchair that Yinghe is in, Seir?
Yes.
Oh. Oh, okay.
Rolling for it.
Curse.
Okay.
Roll
Yeah,
for it
curse.
first.
Okay. Yeah. Okay. Yinghe looks up at you, stands, goes to the next armchair over, and sits down.
Seir
Xainan
raises an eyebrow and quizzically like looks at that response.
They are not meeting your eye.
Xainan has seated himself very promptly because he is here to do business. He seats himself like is expected and looks at everyone around this room who is standing and looks at the chairs and motions to both of the empty chairs because he is here to ingratiate himself.
Ro is unbothered and unfazed by whatever display has just gone on in front of them. I think they recognize that there is something going on here that they don't know about and they don't need to know about. It's not important for them right now.
It's okay. It's you and Sarah on the same boat. It's incredible that we're both here.
So I think Ro just allows that dance to play out in front of Rim, and Ray continues as if they had never lost that beat in the conversation. As thanks for saving Yada's life, I noticed that, well, as you mentioned last night, and as Diablo mentioned last night, that you, Mr. Esch, seem to have gotten into a little bit of trouble with the bears.
I have, and I am grateful for your intervention and assistance, and whatever I can do to help, just let me know. I
Of
didn't,
course.
I didn't know whose bike that was.
Well, far be it from me to tell you that if it's not yours, perhaps taking the bike was an unwise move to begin with, but I would be more than happy to, as thanks for your actions, to facilitate a meeting with Anugata and smooth things over. House Kuwatun, well, they can hold a grudge if you're not careful.
Yeah, that would be much appreciated. But I'm wondering if there's anything else outside of my mishap that we can help you with.
And Ro raises an eyebrow at that and looks to all of Nova and says, "Are you interested in helping further?"
Whatever you need from us.
Yes, 100%, absolutely.
Lumièra elbows you again. Seir.
Yes.
And pardon me for asking, but what exactly would you gain from helping?
There's-
We're kind people. That's a lie.
That's a
You
lie.
feel that immediately.
Okay.
Deep lie.
Noted that. Well, I mean, since you're here, clearly no house has claimed you yet. And so perhaps if you are truly willing to help, I can extend that as a courtesy. House Thakrar can claim you and allow you to go about your business in Inferno, whatever it is, whatever work that you do, unimpeded. In exchange for helping us, of course.
I'd be interested in helping you specifically, Rhododendron. It is in our best interest to find a place to be here, and you seem like someone worth knowing. There is a lie hidden in what Xainan is saying. He is very carefully dancing around where this information came from. Why?
Helping me is helping House Thakrar. So you're in luck.
Seir looks over to Lumièra. He has his arm crossed, and you see that the red threaded finger is tapping on his bicep, and he looks to you almost like, I should tell Rem.
Lumièra will subtly reach over, pat that hand with the red string wrapped around your finger, gently, soothingly, as if saying, in due time.
He nods.
We will scratch your back and you will scratch ours, yes?
Yes, in a way. Though I must ask first, and Ro turns their gaze over to Seir. Of course, before I can fully offer House Thakrar's name to back your actions, I must know, what relationship do you have with House Lanius?
I don't really have a relationship with them.
Enough to drink from their coffers, it seems.
I attended one meeting.
Wait, what do you mean by...
Well, oh. That smell? Coming off of your friend. If you pay attention, when everybody drinks, it smells a little different on them. The residue, that aftermath. And it's... Consider it a signal to others like us that tells everyone from which house this is coffers that drink was taken from.
Know that. Sorry, I'm new at being a vampire.
The Crimson Tapestry takes some getting used to, but...
I don't deny it. I did drink at the House Lanius meeting.
And they invited you because...
They just let me walk in.
What exactly did you hear at this meeting that you attended? Did you participate?
Only to listen and pay attention. Seir looks over to Lumièra and signaling, I'm going to tell them.
Well,
Lumièra nods imperceptibly, saying, go ahead.
And Seir, like, stands up from leaning against the armchair and stands up and says, I heard a lot of things at this House Lanius meeting. They spoke of their contracts. They spoke of union meetings and scheduling. They also spoke about a Ren Shimizu. An accidental death that they didn't consider to be accidental. I believe they were murdered. Sloppily, I think they said.
and there's a shift in Ro's face as you say sloppily. But they control the emotion that goes across Ray's face. And Ray scoffs a little. Well, let me tell you something about House Lanius. They're all liars. Would you like to hear the true story of that house?
And we're gonna end the session there. Thank you all so much for tuning in to the final Chaos stream of 2024! Give it up for Strike Team Nova and Rhododendron Thakrar, an honorary member Yinghua. Thank you all so much for tuning in. If you enjoyed what you saw here tonight, consider leaving us a positive review, joining our Discord server, or posting about us on social media. Not only does it help our creator brains when we're on the verge of burnout, it also helps us continue to reach out to sponsors to make this work possible. Of course, the winter holidays are coming up, which means we are gonna go dark until 2025, but we will be returning in January to continue Arc 2023. If you haven't already, check out our good friend Lexi, Black Girl Mage's donation link in the chat one last time for posterity. Check out those incentives. I'm offering like consultation hours, and so are a lot of incredible transplanter folks. And yeah, I'm gonna pass along introductions over to our incredible guest, Hamnah.
Hello, everyone. My name is Hamnah. I use any and all pronouns, and I am a TTRPG performer and producer. You can find me all over the internet at LilithTTRPG. And I have been Rhododendron Thakrar tonight. Yes. Please do donate to Lexi's mutual aid fund. I am also offering consultation for sponsorship stuff. So join. There's a whole bunch of really cool prizes on there. But yeah, today has been absolutely a blast. And if you want to see more of me coming up, follow me on social media where I talk about all of the different projects that I'm on. This is currently the like main spot that I'm at. So in 2 weeks' time, join us to find out why House Leonis is liars. Why it's full of liars. And with that, I will pass things over to Val.
Hi everyone, I'm Valiant Dorian. I use him, his pronouns. You can find me all around the internet at Valiant Dorian or at Otts the Spirit Bear. Please enjoy the lovely treasure hunt to set you on. Tonight, I had the distinct pleasure of playing your favorite little fucked up Doom boy, Seir, who uses he, they pronouns. Gonna shout out again, please go and check out Lexi's funding goal. Please go and donate, send some love, go and win some incredible prizes as well for doing a good deed. We really appreciate you. In terms of stuff that I'm doing, I'm in a hibernation even during the holidays, but I will be returning in January 2025 with a bunch of projects to keep up to date with all my socials. And also Doomsayers is back tomorrow. Come check us out in the underworld, y'all. I'm gonna pass it on over to my fellow Doomsayer.
Hi everyone, I'm Kai. You can find me all over the internet as Estelle of Imladris. Happy holidays to everyone. Please go donate to Lexi. We love him. And we'll catch you all in the new year. Samm, take us away.
Hello, I'm Samm Star. You can follow me all across the interwebs at LustForLifeX. Plus wanting everything that everyone has said about Lexi. He is the best. I love him dearly. And you also might see a familiar face tomorrow for the Night Before Strixmas stream. So donate or come watch. I'm sending it home to you, boss. Take us out.
It's a me, boss. Just so y'all know, if you're running the numbers on the odds for the incentives, there are so many that your odds are really good if you donate any amount of money. They're actually really good because there's so many incentives. So go donate. You might win. I'm not gonna say probably. You might win. So yes, stay tuned for the raid, and let's give a big shout out to our mods in chat to round out 2024. Huge shout out to Heath and Jordan, and of course a huge shout out to our producer C. Thomas, who's running all the music that you hear mixing live. Our dramaturg, incredible. Send love to them. We love C.
We love C. We love C.
And with that, goodbye everybody. Stick around for the raid if we're gonna be raiding someone else. And use the raid message in chat. We love you, and Bijo, see you in 2025, baby. Bye. Howdy, transplanters. You know what time it is. It's sponsor Connie time with a word from Hero Forge. Hero Forge has officially leveled up with kit bashing. When you become a pro member, you can place up to 20 more items anywhere on one of your Blorbos with their own independent scaling, rotation, and movement. You can make your character look exactly as they should, even if the specific clothing or accessory option isn't available at the base level. You just have to get a little creative. And because I love you, transplanters, here's a special sneak peek at a kit bashed version of Oblivion. Just look at those wings and that base. This would not be possible without the power of kit bashing. The combinations are literally endless, and you can print your kit bashed Blorbos as plastic minis, standees, digital STL files, or even Hero Forge's brand new color statuettes. Color statuettes are twice the size of a regular mini, and just look at this. I mean, look at how massive this is, and especially in comparison to a regular mini, you can really get into all the nooks and crannies and details that wouldn't be as apparent on a regular sized mini. Just look at how Oblivion dwarfs Oka here. And also, if you're a GM, consider busting out one of these bad boys during a boss fight to really get your players shaking in their boots. Oblivion agrees. Unlock the true power of Hero Forge with a Hero Forge Pro subscription starting at $3.99 a month. Get in there and start creating at bit.ly/transforge. Now, let's get back to the show. Or more likely, just more of the waiting room. Trust in her will.